Hello, everybody, and welcome back for my book reading of Stephen King's Cell. Here we go. His hair, a long white tangle, rippled a bit in the mild afternoon breeze. The clouds were gone. The back porch gave them a good view of the campus, and so far it was deserted. Jordan went around the house at regular intervals to scout the hill sloping down to the Academy Avenue and reported all quiet there as well. "You've not seen any of the other roosting places?" "Nope," Tom said. "But we're traveling in the dark," Clay reminded him. "And now the dark is really dark." "Yes," they had agreed. He spoke almost dreamingly, as in the modern age. Translation, Jordan? The Middle Age, sir. Good. He patted Jordan's shoulder. "Even big flocks would be easy to miss," Clay said. "They wouldn't have to be hiding." "No, they're not hiding," Headmaster Arday agreed, steepling his fingers. "Not yet, at any rate. They flock. They forage. And their group mind may break down a bit while they forage, but perhaps less. Every day, perhaps less." "Manchester burned to the ground," Jordan said suddenly. "We could see the fire from here." "Couldn't we, sir?" "Yes," they had agreed. "It's been very sad and frightening." "Is it true that people trying to cross into Massachusetts after being shot at the border?" Jordan asked. "That's what people are saying. People are saying you have to go to Vermont. Only that way is safe." "It's a crock," Clay said. "We heard the same thing about New Hampshire border." Jordan goggled at him for a moment, then burst out laughing. The sound was clear and beautiful in the still air. Then, in the distance, a gun went off. Closer. Someone shouted in either rage or horror. Jordan stopped laughing. "Tell us about that weird state they were in last night." I listened quietly. "And the music? Do all the other flocks listen to music at night?" Dad looked at Jordan. "Yes," the boy said. "It's all soft stuff. No rock, no country. I should guess nothing classical either," the head put in. "Not of a challenging nature, at any rate." "It's the lullabies," Jordan said. "That's what the head and me think, isn't it, sir?" The head and I, Jordan. Head and I, "Yes, sir." "But it is indeed what we think," the head agreed. "Although I suspect there may be more to it than that. Yes, quite a bit more." Clay was flummoxed. Flummoxed? He hardly knew how to go on. He looked at his friends and saw on their faces what he was feeling. Not just puzzlement, but a dreadful reluctance to be enlightened. Leaning forward, Headmaster Arday said, "May I be frank?" "I must be frank. It is a habit of a lifetime. I want you to help us do a terrible thing here. The time to do it is short, I think, and while one such act alone may come to nothing, one never knows, does one? One never knows what sort of communication may flow between these flocks. In any case, I will not stand idly by while these things steal away not only my school, but the very daylight itself. I might have attempted it already, but I'm old, and Jordan is very young, too young. Wherever they are now, they were human not long ago. Now I won't let them be part of this." "I can do my share, sir," Jordan said. He spoke as stoutly, Clay thought, as any Muslim teenager who ever strapped on a suicide belt stuffed with explosives. "I salute your courage, Jordan," the head told him, "but I think not." He looked at the boy kindly, but when he returned his gaze to the others, his eyes were hardened considerably. "You have weapons, good ones, and I have nothing but an old single-shot .22 rifle that may not even work anymore, although the barrel's open. I've looked." Even if it does work, the cartridges I have for it may not fire. But we have a gasoline pump at our little motor pool, and gasoline might serve to end their lives. He must have seen the horror in their faces because he nodded to Clay, and he no longer looked like kindly old Mr. Chips. He looked like Puritan elder in oil painting. One who could have sentenced a man to the stocks without batting an eye, or a woman to be burned at the stake as a witch. He nodded at Clay in particular. Clay was sure of it. I know what I'm saying, I know how it sounds, but it wouldn't be murder. Not really. It would be extermination. And I have no power to make you do anything. But in any case, whether you help me burn them or not, you must pass on the message. To who? Alice asked faintly. To everyone you meet, Miss Maxwell. He leaned over the remains of their meal, those hanging judge eye sharp and small and burning hot. You must tell what's happening to them, to the ones who've heard the infernal message on their devil's intercoms. You must pass this on. Everyone who has had the daylight robbed away from them must hear, and before it's too late. He passed a hand over his lower face, and Clay saw the fingers were shaking a little. It would be easy to dismiss that as a sign of a man's age, but he hasn't seen any tremors before. We're afraid it soon will be, aren't we, Jordan? Yes, sir. Jordan certainly thought he knew something. He looked terrified. What? What happened to them? Clay asked. It's got something to do with the music and those wired together boomboxes, doesn't it? The head sagged, suddenly looking tired. They're not wired together, he said. Do you remember me telling you that both of your premises were wrong? Yes, but I don't understand what you... There's one sound system with a CD in it. About that, you're certainly right. A single a compilations disc, Jordan says. Which is why the music songs plays over and over. Luckily Tom muttered, but Clay barely heard him. He was trying to get the sense of what Arday had just said. They're not wired together. How could that be? It couldn't. The sound systems, the boomboxes, if you like, are placed all around the field. The head went on, and they're all on. At night, you can see their little red power lamps. Yes, Al said, I did notice some red lights. I just didn't think anything of it. But there's nothing in them. No compact discs or cassette tapes, and no wires linking them. They're just slaves that pick up the master disc audio and rebroadcast it. If their mouths are open, the music comes from them, too, Jordan said. It's just a little, not hardly a whisper, but you can hear it. No, Clay said. That's your imagination, kiddo. Gotta be. I haven't heard that myself, Arday said, but of course, my ears aren't what they were back when I was a Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps fan. Back in the day, Jordan and his friends would say. You're very old school, sir, Jordan said. He spoke with gently solemnity. I can't pronounce that word. Solemnity? An unmistakable affection. Yes, Jordan, I am, the head agreed. He clapped the boy on the shoulders, then turned his attention to the others. If Jordan says he heard it, I believe him. It's not possible, Clay said. Not without a transmitter. They are transmitting, the head replied. It's a skill they seem to have picked up since the polls. Wait, Tom said. He raised one hand like a traffic cop, lowered it, began to speak, raised it again. From this place of dubious shelter, at Headmaster's Arday side, Jordan watched him closely. Last Tom said. Are we talking telepathy here? I should guess that's not exactly le mot juste for this particular phenomenon, the head answered. But why stick at technicalities? I would be willing to wager all the frozen hamburgers remaining in my cooler that the word had been used among you before today. You win double burgers, Clay said. Well, yeah, but the flocking thing is different, Tom said. Because? The head raised his tangled brows. Well, because... Tom couldn't finish, and Clay knew why. It wasn't different. The flocking wasn't human behavior. And they known it from the moment they observed George the mechanic following the woman in the filthy pantsuit across Tom's front lawn to Salem Street. He'd been walking so closely behind her that he could have bitten her neck, but he hadn't. And why? Because for the phone crazies, biting was done. Flocking had begun. At least biting their own kind was done, unless Professor Arda at the beginning they killed everyone. Yes, they had agreed. We were very lucky to escape, weren't we, Jordan? Jordan shuddered and nodded. The kids ran everywhere, even some of the teachers, killing, biting, babbling, nonsense stuff. I hid in one of the greenhouses for a while, and in the attic of this very house, I had added. I watched out of the small window up there as the campus I love, literally went to hell. Jordan said most of the ones who didn't die ran away towards downtown. Now a lot of them are back. Over there, he nodded his head in the general direction of the soccer field. All of which leads us to what? Clay asked. I think you know, Mr. Riddell. Clay? Fine, I think what's happening now is more than temporary anarchy. I think it's the start of a war. And it's going to be a short but extremely nasty one. Don't you think you're overstating? I don't. Well, I have my own observations to go on, mine and Jordan's. We had a very large flock to observe, and we've seen them going and coming as well as resting, shall we say. They stopped killing each other, but they continued to kill the people who would classify as normal. I call them warlike behavior. We've actually seen them killing normals? Tom asked. Beside him, Alice opened her pack, removed the baby Nike, and held it in her hand. The head looked at him gravely. I have. I'm sorry to say that Jordan has too. We couldn't help, Jordan said. His eyes were leaking. There were too many. It was a man and a woman, see? I don't know what they were doing on campus so close to dark, but they sure couldn't have known about Tanya Field. She was hurt. He was helping her along. They ran into about 20 of them on the way back from town. The man tried to carry her. Jordan's voice began to break. On his own, he might have gotten away, but with her, he only made it as far as Horton Hall. That's a dorm. That's where he fell down, and they caught him. Jordan abruptly buried his head against the old man's coat. Charcoal gray number. This afternoon. Dad's big hand stroked the back of Jordan's smooth neck. They seemed to know their enemies, the head mused. They may well have been part of the original message, don't you think? Maybe, Clay said. It made a nasty sort of sense as to what they are doing at night as they lie there so still and open-eyed, listening to the music. Dad sighed, took a handkerchief from one of his coat pockets, and wiped the boy's eyes with a no matter-of-fact fashion. Clay saw he was both very frightened and very sure of whatever conclusion he had drawn. I think they're rebooting, he said. And with this, I'm going to stop it here for this book reading. Thank you very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.